Hello everyone, this is Adam, and you're watching Cleverbot Cards. Today we're going to talk about Pro Tour Eldritch Moon. Now this Pro Tour was pretty insane. I've got to say, it's one of the most exciting ones I've seen. The last two Pro Tours have actually been pretty good. No disappointing news this time though about the pros or anything like that. Just all the good stuff. The first deck that I want to talk about is the winning deck. It was piloted by Lucas Blohan. Surprisingly, it's white-black control. Who would have guessed? Surprising victory. He won 9 straight from the quarterfinals. He lost 2 in the quarterfinals and then won his next 9 matches to take down the tournament and had to go up against Owen Turtenwald in the finals. It was a pretty exciting match. Definitely recommend checking it out if you haven't seen the replays. So what really makes this deck tick and what makes it viable in current format is Liliana. She just makes the deck. This card is really good right now. Her plus is good, her minus is good, her ultimate is good. It seemed like every time Liliana was on screen, there was a horde of zombies just swarming the opponent, killing him. And her ultimate was ridiculous on camera. Like that, I don't know. It was insane watching some of those games. Uh, the board just fills up so quickly with zombies. They grow exponentially every turn, so, well, not exactly exponentially, but you get my drift. They just start flooding the board, just like you see in the sneak preview trailer for Eldritch Moon with Liliana sending the horde of zombies towards Emrakul. That's basically what the Pro Tour was. Uh, there was a lot of speculation if she'd be good or not. I was on the side that she would be really good. Historically speaking, 3 mana drop Lilianas are really good, so it's no different here. Liliana the Last Hope does have what it takes to win tournaments, so I think that question's been answered. Now, some key things about this deck. Main deck, Hallowed Moonlight, obviously for the Bant Company matchup, and a ton of removal and disruption. Looks like there's something for everything, and what they try to do is just single remove, just spot removal, languish, maybe get a 2 or 3 for 1 or more, and then they kill you with an Avacyn, Kalidas, Liliana, or even Sorin possibly. And out of the sideboard they can bring in Gideon and switch it up to a more traditional style black-white control. So there were a couple interesting plays that happened. Most obviously was when Lucas Blohan beat Owen Turtenwald in the finals, Game 2, with a Liliana ultimate, and Turtenwald had Emrakul and just got swarmed with zombies. And Lucas also did the same thing against Samuel Pardee in the semifinals, Game 1. So that was really cool to watch. I think we saw more Liliana ultimates in this tournament than in all the tournaments that I've watched. Like, there were so many ultimates from Liliana. The next one I want to talk about is Temur Emerge, or Tmerge, as some people are calling it. And it was piloted by Owen Turtenwald. Really good Magic player, maybe the best. Currently, it's hard to say. There's a few that you could give that title to, potentially. Up for debate. Anyways, point of this is to talk about the deck. What I really like here is he's got Elder Deep Fiend main with Emrakul, 3 of each, and Gnarlwood Dryad's pretty cool too, but that's more on the Delirium side. The Emerge side of the deck, you can start chaining Deep Fiends together. You use Pilgrim's Eye, Gnarlwood Dryad, but primarily just Pilgrim's Eye. That's really the best target for Emerge. Use that to ramp, and then play a quick Elder Deep Fiend and start chaining them together and just keep your opponent tapped down while you still develop your board, and eventually drop an Emrakul, take their turn, win the game. You know. This deck is fantastic. It's the one that I want to try playing. I just need to get my hands on some Emrakuls, and I will be playing it. There's some interactions in here that might not be as obvious, though. So just to go over those real quick. You've got Gather the Pack, Grapple with the Past, and Vessel of Nascency. And you use those 3 cards to dredge your own deck, and that generates a type of card advantage. For example, if you put Kozilek's Return in your graveyard, you can then later cast Elder Deep Fiend and then bring back Kozilek's Return and deal 5 damage. And 5 damage is really good right now. That kills pretty much everything that's relevant that you would want a board wipe for. And anything Kozilek's Return doesn't hit, you can tap down with Deep Fiend if you need. So yeah, this deck is attacking on multiple angles. It's got the Delirium side with the early Gnarlwood Dryads. They could potentially be 3/3s really fast when you're attacking with Wild Nacatls. Or you can take the slower approach, or both. The next list is Bant Company, A Tale as Old as Time, and it was piloted by LSV, or as we call him now, LS3, Louis Scott Vargas. He ended up winning, or top 8ing his 3rd Pro Tour in a row, and that hasn't been done since John Finkel Pro Tour Chicago 98. That was kind of expected. Like, LSV has been doing really good this year, so not too surprised to see him there. So let's talk about the deck. I'm only going to spend a little bit of time on this one. It's your standard issue Bant Company list, but one key thing is the amount of JVPs in there, Jace Vryn's Prodigy. He's only running one main. I think that's the right call. You've got to go fast with this deck. This is currently what I'm running. I ran Bant Company when it first emerged, if you will, prior to Eldritch Moon. Switched over to Ramp for a while, then ended up playing Bant Humans in some PPTQs. But the Bant Company decks, they play the same. You try to run your creatures out and end the game as fast as you can before your opponent can develop their board. And you're a tempo deck, you're a card advantage deck, you're playing one card and putting 2 creatures into play for free and bouncing their creatures. So there's a lot of tempo plays and card advantage plays there. Another addition here is Selfless Spirit. Now that card is clutch. You definitely want to have Spirit, especially with Kozilek's Return being as popular as it is right now. You have to have your Selfless Spirit. It's just a main inclusion. I think that card is going to end up being as good, if not better, than Spellqueller. Spellqueller is not a long-term solution. It's a creature, so it's really prone to removal, and eventually they're going to get their cards back. So you have to close the game out before they can kill your Quellers and get their cards back, obviously. But there was one play in particular at the Pro Tour where I forget who was playing, but one guy had 2 Spellquellers out, and his opponent had Languish in hand, and ends up, it was a total blowout. Plays Languish, wipes his opponent's board, gets all this stuff for free, and it was over pretty quick after that. Yeah, Spellqueller's great, but it's definitely not the best card in the set. I don't even know if it's the best creature in the deck. Like, Reflector Mage is still really good. Also, a temporary solution. I don't know. Spellqueller's pretty good. Collector Company is definitely the best card, but as far as, like, creatures go, I'm not sure which one's better, or if there is a best. They all seem kind of even. They're all 3 drops, pretty much. Anyways, that's Bant Company. We all know what it does. Alright, so the next deck is Black Green Delirium by Samuel Pardee. He was a semifinalist. And his list, he runs a full play set of Liliana the Last Hope. That card is fantastic. It's as good as some people thought it would be. A lot of people didn't think it was good, but not sure why. Another card that was kind of questionable was Grim Flare. Now, I figured this card would be really good. And some decks, if you want it, you want to play set, as we can see here. 4 Liliana, 4 Grim Flare. And you don't have to choose, like, should I run Grim Flare or Advocate? You can run both. That's the whole point. You can run both and then have really good creatures. Another thing Black Green Delirium has is a lot of really good removal. It can main deck Languish, Ruinous Path, Murder, Grasp of Darkness. And it also has a playset of Traverse the Uvenwald. Now that card is really good in this deck because it's so good at getting Delirium. It's not focused fully on getting Delirium, but with Liliana, her minus ability, you're going to fill your graveyard up. You're going to get Delirium pretty quick. I think I saw like a turn 3 or maybe turn 4 Delirium activation. So it was really fast. Liliana is good in the right deck, but she's also splashable in other decks for niche roles if you need removal against aggro, mainly. Alright, so Black Green Delirium was also one of the more played decks, but Sam had the most success with it. Next deck, I want to talk about another Bant Company deck by Yuta Takahashi. Main difference here is he runs a playset of Jace and no Selfless Spirits, so I think that's the wrong call for the meta. Jace is too slow, from my experience with Bant Company, and you have to have Selfless Spirit. It's sort of an auto-inclusion now. So yeah, that's all I want to talk about this deck. Next up is Red Green Ramp by none other than Reed Duke. Reed Duke, I really like the way he plays games. He's just very focused. One of my favorite Magic players. And I'm also a big fan of Red Green Ramp. I was running Red Green Ramp and Naya Ramp prior to Eldritch Moon. And in my build, I found that Radiant Flames and Kozilek's Return were nuts. If you could get like turn 3 Kozilek's Return or Radiant Flames, preferably Radiant Flames, You want your perfect mana, Plains, Mountain, Forest, turn 3 damage Radiant Flames, kill their advocates. But if you couldn't do that, then you could always rely on playing Kozilek's Return, killing what you could, and then ramping into an Eldrazi and flashing back the Kozilek's Return for free. And it seems to be even better now with the new creatures like Emrakul, Elder Deep Fiend, all the new Eldrazi creatures, but specifically Elder Deep Fiend and Emrakul. So yeah, and Worldbreaker just as good as ever, but it has to share some slots now. And in this build, we see that Reduke went with the more creature approach. I know that's kind of where ramp decks were headed prior to Eldritch Moon, adding more creatures or bringing in Tireless Trackers from the sideboard or main decking, Hangerback Walkers, those kinds of things. This just seems to be the next evolution of that. All right, so next up is Red Green Ramp by Ken Yukihiro. He was a quarterfinalist, and he ended up running a different version of Ramp than what Reduke ran, with 3 Emrakul, 4 Hangerback, 3 Ishkanah, and a Worldbreaker. He also played a full set of Collective Defiance, which I really like. I think that card's pretty cool, especially in Limited. It's a bomb. But if you can afford all the modes in any game, then it's a broken spell. You get to refill your hand or mess up your opponent's hand. You can kill a creature and hit the player, so it's like a Searing Blaze or Searing Blood type effect. And those are traditionally pretty good cards. So no surprise that it's good enough to top 8 a Pro Tour. Other than that, the only other card I really want to talk about is Weaver of Lightning. Now that card was really good. There were a couple games where he ended up winning on his last additional turn, rounds 15 and 16, and he ended up making top 8 because of that. And Weaver of Lightning was a big part of that, letting him kill the last blocker and get in for lethal. So Weaver of Lightning, pretty cool tech. I like that card a lot. The last deck I want to talk about is another Temur Emerge to Merge deck by Andrew Brown, another quarterfinalist. So this deck, we see he's got a playset of JVPs and Gather the Pack and Grapple with the Past. And those are primarily to put Kozilek's Return in your graveyard and then cast a Wretched Gryff or Elder Deep Fiend. Both of those will trigger Kozilek's Return. It's flashback from the graveyard. So that's some cool tech with Wretched Gryff. That's the main thing going on here with this deck. Fill the graveyard up, get a return in there, play some big Eldrazi's, and start chaining them together with their Emerge costs, and then win the game. Didn't main deck Emrakul. Probably the wrong choice for this tournament, for any tournament really. Anytime you have the option to play Emrakul in your deck, you should probably do so and put it main deck. Unless you've got some crazy Coax from the Blind Eternities things going on, but that's not what we're seeing here. I haven't really got to test this deck much, but I like everything that I'm seeing. Alright, so that was the top 8 from Pro Tour Eldritch Moon. Next video, I'm going to talk about 5 decks that didn't make the top 8, but were still really cool. I'm going to call them brews, but I'm using that term loosely. Some of these decks are not brews, but you get what I mean. So anyways, see you guys next video.